Hello! Welcome back to the studio. The sketches I'm going to share with you today are not my prettiest work. And I'm not saying this to get pity or reassurance or to make you feel bad about your own work. These aren't my loveliest work because they were never meant to be. These are rough sketches that I did to stretch my artistic abilities and try new things. When you stretch and try new things for the first time, occasionally something magic and wonderful happens, but most of the time, it's just not going to be your best work. And that doesn't make it any less valuable. It's just as important to do that. So today I'm sharing a little bit of my private practice that I don't frequently share with the world. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing daily art challenges, their advantages, their disadvantages, why I won't do them ever again, but also why, even though I won't do a daily art challenge again, why I would definitely recommend that you try one out if you've never done a daily art challenge before. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lee. I'm a botanical and natural science illustrator based in Kitchener-Waterloo, Canada. On this channel, I share watercolor techniques and tips and some insights into my daily life as an illustrator. If this is content that you're interested in, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Daily art challenges. It seems like every month there's a new one. Just off the top of my head, we have May and World Watercolour Month and 30 by 30 direct watercolor and Inktober and Huevember and even Vlogmas. It seems like every time somebody starts a new daily art challenge, I get a question. Will you be participating in this monthly challenge? For the past 3 years, my answer has always been the same. No, I don't do daily art challenges. Now, as you're watching, you're probably getting pretty confused because you're looking at my sketchbook and you're like, hey Lee, I'm seeing a bunch of numbered little ink drawings. This looks an awful lot like one of those daily art challenges to me. And if you're tuned into social media and my portrait skills aren't quite as terrible as my hypercritical brain would have me believe, you might even have recognized some of these little portraits and thought, that looks a lot like Med's 100 Heads. And you're not entirely wrong, but I'm still not doing daily art challenges. So let's get into it. For the majority of you who have only started following me in the past couple years, you may not know, but I do have a history of doing some daily art challenges. In 2016, I did a month-long watercolor challenge where I painted a natural science specimen every day in September. In 2017, I did Inktober and drew an ink piece every day in October, and then in 2018 I did an entire year-long daily art project. This was a self-initiated project that I named the Daily Leaf. I'll leave a link up above to a video showing all of the pieces as well as down below where you can take a closer look. So obviously I do see some value in daily art projects, as I've done so many. As I mentioned in my intro, I feel like it's really important to stretch artistically and try new things. A daily art project is a great way to do that. The act of making a large collection of things and having to make artwork every single day inevitably forces you to get comfortable with making artwork quickly or when you're not in the mood, and being comfortable with artwork that maybe isn't your best work. This is an incredibly valuable practice. If you always create artwork within your comfort zone, only the subjects that you are comfortable with, using only the colors you're familiar with, painted only using techniques that you are experienced with, you'll never develop as an artist. In order to really improve, you have to push beyond your comfort zone and try things that you're uncomfortable with. And you have to work at it regularly. So in that sense, a daily art project is incredibly valuable. And especially during my first 2 daily art projects, and at the beginning of my 3rd one, I felt I was definitely improving and learning by leaps and bounds. And yet, I will never again do a daily art project. You see, here's what I discovered. After several months of forcing myself to create new artwork and post it every day, I got over my fear of sharing artwork that I wasn't comfortable with. That is no longer a major concern for me. I also don't find myself struggling to start a piece. I'm pretty comfortable just opening a sketchbook, and starting to sketch. Those are skills that daily art projects taught me. However, over time, I've discovered that daily art projects don't help me advance anymore in the ways that I want to advance. While working on the daily leaf, I found that it was very difficult for me to juggle my time. Initially, when I started the project, I thought that I would have an easy time just doing a small leaf painting every day, and that I would still have time to focus on other larger projects. However, I found that the mental juggling act of task switching between my daily art project and some ongoing thing became really difficult. And so it was really difficult for me to work on larger projects while also working on the daily leaf. As a result, although I created a whole lot of work in 2018, the majority of it ended up being work that I wasn't particularly pleased with. I had been hoping to stretch myself in composition and multiple elements in a piece, but the nature of finding a new subject every single day did not lend itself to developing those skills. At this point, I feel like that would be a problem with any project that involves finishing a piece every single day. At this point in my development, I prefer to focus primarily on larger pieces that take more than a day, significantly more than a day in most cases, to finish. That's not to say that I don't still see the value in doing quick sketches. I absolutely do. However, I feel like limiting myself to one small piece every single day and spreading them out that way isn't necessarily the most valuable use of my time. So instead, I'm adapting ideas from daily art projects. These little portrait studies that you're seeing me work on are a perfect example. As a botanical artist, portraits are not something that I consider myself particularly familiar or proficient with. I can, of course, use grid systems and color matching and put together a presentable portrait with a lot of effort, but I don't feel like I have the understanding and visual language to easily create portrait studies. When I saw the Meds 100 Heads challenge, it seemed like a great way to get some portrait study experience. But I don't do daily art challenges. So instead, I decided I would draw 100 heads. specifically because I often preach the value of sketching in pen, and particularly with an ink pen that doesn't have any shading. I thought I don't really have a visual language to communicate portraits this way. So I'm gonna do 100 of them. But I didn't do them in 10 days. I didn't do them in 100 days. I didn't give myself a schedule at all. I started drawing, and I did 5 portraits one day, 5 portraits the next. Then I set aside my sketchbook and I forgot about it for a while. I came back months later. In fact, I started this project before the pandemic, when I thought that I would be doing more urban sketching. Obviously, I haven't been out with urban sketching groups very much. But I did gradually, over time, do 100 pen portrait studies. And I learned a whole lot. One of the main things I learned from this experience is that I don't just lack a visual library to communicate how portraits look in pen and ink. I really struggle to understand how the human face is put together at all. So I feel like I might actually benefit from doing this over, but exploring different media where I can understand these shapes more easily and do some shading. Maybe I'll share that with you when I finish it in a year or two. But I won't be doing it as a daily art project. However, if you've never done a daily art project before, I would definitely highly recommend them, especially if you feel like you struggle with gearing up to put pencil to paper, or if you struggle with self-doubt about sharing your work, or really any kind of block where you feel precious about your artwork and not creating your best work every time. I feel like daily art projects are really wonderful at busting through that block. So let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever done a daily art project before? Would you like to do a daily art project? Would you recommend them to others? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them. As always, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you'd like to be notified when my next video comes out. Until then, see you later. Bye bye.